Ah, dearie me. Welcome all, everyone. Fish. And Deck as well. And Teslafane as well. Whoosh.
Hello chaps, hope you're doing well, if you can hear me.
Sorry, I had the stream on in the background. My bad. Whoops.
Professional?
Yes, always. Welcome in to some more Pokemon. It's been a good while. Hopefully all will go well with this. He says. Let me just get this set up then. Let's do that.
Along for the road. I'm just tidying up while he's playing. I would join in, but my DS isn't very fast.
Yeah, his DS balked, sadly, so...
I'll have to wait until you play the next Pokemon.
Oh really? You're gonna wait on that, eh?
Well, you're quite far.
I'm in Mahogany Town, so I'm decent.
Yeah.
Then hacking Samari 2, was gonna go live myself, then saw you was on. Oh, sorry, Tess. Sorry, man.
Nice.
I bet Silent was looking forward to that as well. Right, where the hell?
Oh, you got is it Bailey?
No, what's it called?
Oh, Bailey.
Jesus Christ, I'm halfway through the game. Yeah, it's a Bayleaf.
Oh, it is.
Yep.
Been trying to make a co-op. Well, good luck. Hope you do.
Yep, hope that goes really well for you. Right, yes. So, I got myself a, kind of a crap team, I've gotta be honest. Wow, it's been a while since I have played this game, so I'm a little bit...
You got most of the types.
Yeah, I don't have Psych.
So I mean,
that'd be ideal just to go against Psychic,
I guess.
What I need to do, really, is train up this, Manishki, which is, supposed to be a, fish, so that I can actually surf and deal with this, shiny Gyarados.
Oh.
I'm going to be the first to tell you it has been quite a while, so I can barely remember what I was doing in this game. So if I remember details a little bit rough, that's why. So we have an electric type. I'm gonna want to send out Bayleaf. I should probably also joke that this is a yeah, it's the running gag after when it came to Tenchu. So yeah, special console all the way around.
I see.
Oh, that gag's not gonna get old very soon.
I think I made that joke to...
on Parasite 2 as well, when someone was playing that special.
I think it all came about because of the fact that some moron basically named and shamed Hyperet while he was just trying to help, so...
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. Saw that immediately.
But the bot I
use actually
well, my say bot
bot
in the channel. You know what we call it.
Yeah.
Just get
rid of the bot straight away.
Like they don't even get a second to do anything. Just instant ban.
You might have it so that there's a particular word set that's doing it. and that's what's allowing it to be banned, whereas I've got to do it manually or have people who are modded to actually deal with that.
Yeah.
Which does remind me... Let's make you a moderator.
Oh, very nice. Thank you kindly.
You're very welcome.
Ban those bots.
If you're able to spot them.
Yeah.
Oh, he's doubled up through me as well. Oh, shit.
Let's see. Yeah,
I think that's feasible.
I think I know why. My audio settings are... I don't understand what Silent's saying. Rip.
I said you're a bot, Tesla.
Of course. That's all we need. That might be okay now. Hopefully. I've turned down my speaker a little bit as well. Hopefully that might ease it down a bit.
I mean, it seems to be alright.
Yeah, but my microphone has gotten a bit more sensitive now recently. Don't know why.
Oh.
Just gonna crank that a little bit so that you're a little bit more audible. Hopefully you'll now be heard a bit more.
Yes.
Yeah, that didn't look like it was speaking. That's good. Seems okay. Okay, that's good.
Nice.
I'll bring my microphone a little bit further away from the speakers as well. I've sort of gotten too used to having speakers now that it's very hard for me to judge.
And we don't use headphones?
Not really anymore, no. Not unless I'm going to do, like, actual sound optimization stuff when I was voiceovers. Or when I was doing voiceovers.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that I think I set my microphone to, like, full chat near enough at one point, it was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Blown everything out of proportion and whatnot. If I do get any interruption, it'll probably be either from the dog or family, so I will probably need to get stream for that. Like right now, there's a little piglet. The dog I don't mind, I can deal with the dog. Can't I? I'm gonna have to, don't I? We're just grinding for the moment right now, so that's why it's just kind of a little bit boring right now.
Yeah, you've got to grind. Pretty much any sort of...
Yeah, because I forgot to do that. Oh, sir, you have a bottom now.
A bottom?
Guys, broke wind. Yeah, hold up. I have a piglet. Probably audible on the stream as well.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, it's alright.
I say it's a piglet, because it makes noise like a piglet.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's my beautiful boy. aren't you? French Bulldog. Gotta love him.
So many points.
Oh man, Thunderwave, really? Oh no, isn't it bad? I'm glad you're in agreement. Just behind the ears, eh? Just behind the ears.
My cat likes that. Behind the ears.
Hmm.
Oh. And under his chin as well. Not scratch.
If he'd actually not try and eat my hand, I'd go for the chin as well. Because he's a little bloody nuisance at times, aren't you? Mwah. Ooh, ratbag. You fidget bum as well. You're a worse fidget bum than I am. Oh yeah, I was going through a period where I was going to have to name everyone as well. That's gonna be fun. I'm used to all this attention, are you? Especially while I'm live. Ratbag. You got shocked by some sheep. That's why you're paralyzed right now.
Those goddamn sheep.
I haven't gotten around to fixing it. Maybe I too was planning to take you to paradise. Kind of like the good old eggplant. I'm pretty sure you know what eggplant is in Japanese.
An old eggplant.
Nasu. A Tenchu reference, I probably didn't get it.
Old Tenchu.
Alright, big girl. You wanna hop down? Is that it? Because you're tearing my leg a new one. Well, that wasn't exactly hop down, but no, that'll have to do. Making weird noises again. Oh, hello. Route 36 to go pick it up. Alright then, Tesla, take care for now. Hope that goes well.
Oh, yeah. See you later.
Oh, hey, Arthur, how are you? I'm all good. Glad to have you on board. I don't know if I actually posted on your server that I went live. Can't remember. The servers are starting to blend together. We're currently in a bit of a grinding moment because of the fact that I did not level up off camera like I said I was going to. So things are a bit hectic.
What level do you evolve?
I can't remember what Magikarp levels up to. Thank you very much, Arte. Glad that I'm able to be online a bit more. with all the work that I'm doing, I'm sort of amazed I took some time to do it. No, this is not, unfortunately. What me and Silent were going to do initially was that he was going to play Heart Gold on hardware, and I was going to do this on emulator. This version being Soul Silver. But unfortunately, his card reader that he was using isn't working properly.
Yeah, I was using R4 card, which basically lets you just play games off micro SD on a console, but it died when I tried to play Pokemon Black. So I actually blame Flame for it, but
Wow.
wow. No, but seriously, when I tried to play Pokemon Black, I think it's Black 2.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, it just stopped working. Strange.
It was really weird, but that was the thing that messed up. So yeah, I'm basically playing this on my lonesome. Whilst having Silent watch over.
Yeah, I'm just moral support. Boost his morale.
To the best of his abilities. I really can't remember when Magikarp actually evolves. Like, are you able to look that up for me, please?
Yeah, let's see. Oh crap, where's my mouse? Okay. Pokemon.
I think it's something like level 20 or something? In which case it's...
Yeah, level 20.
Oh, wow. This is gonna take a little while then. It depends. Most of the evolutions are by level. There are some that require specific requirements, like trade, in order to evolve. Some require you to trade with an item in their inventory that they're holding. And also, some of them require like a specific evolution stone to evolve. They really started fleshing it out even more as time goes on in the later games. Like, now you have to run near enough a marathon in the newest generation for at least 3 Pokemon to evolve to their highest level. Which is ridiculous. So there's a bunch.
Yeah, I think did they get rid of having to trade for certain ones that evolve? They stopped doing that.
No, they carried on doing it through the main gen. The only time that they stopped doing it really was Legends Arceus, and that was because they needed to find an alternative because they didn't make 2 separate games.
Okay.
Yep, it's indeed rather complicated. It's far harder than it needs to be. Let's put it that way. No, for God's sake. Luckily, this is only up to Gen 4, this particular game, so in that regard, it's not as bad. But I do have like 400 odd Pokemon to sort through, if not more.
Oh, this is Gen what? 2? Wait, 4?
This is a remake of Gen 2 in Generation 4.
Right.
Try and wrap your head around that.
So it's got extra Pokemon? or not?
Extra Pokemon, extra evolutions, it's got everything.
So I was trying to think, because Gen 1's obviously 151, but right?
And then Gen 2 was like, add an additional 100 to that.
Yeah. I mean, at least that wasn't too bad. But as you get on, obviously there's loads of Pokemon.
Yeah, to the
Obviously,
point
they
where
include all
now,
the
if the
Pokemon.
National Dex actually still had effect from Gen 8 onwards, we would now have surpassed 1,000 Pokemon.
But they
But you
don't have all the Pokemon.
No, they don't have all of them, no. In terms of the things that change, the physical form that they take, they visually look different, but they also can take more abilities, their stats improve, so that is higher, and you got all that going on. Shootershi. But forgive me if that's not how you pronounce your name.
Hello, welcome.
Hello there. Welcome in. Ash. Okay. We'll go with that. This is not going according to plan, I can tell. They can get better abilities, but they can only have like one main thing that's like an ability, so take static, for instance. A chance that any physical attack will turn the other opponent paralyzed, kind of thing. So it can add a status effect. That's a thing that can be done in the game. There are other things alike on that front. Flash Burn, I think, can do it, where it actually heals from fire damage and grants fire immunity. Like, there's a whole bunch. There's just so many now. Obviously, the Mon that I have, I've nicknamed them. They're not actually supposed to be named the way that they are. Like, this is a Magmar, but I've named it Magnium. Oh, there's an effect that's just happened. So that's one ability that can happen where, because I used a physical move, that caused that to happen. Yeah, it's quite interesting when you do get into the nitty-gritty of Pokemon. I do enjoy the games a lot, and I mean, I grew up with Generation 2, so this region is exactly as I remember. It's just that the Pokemon are different, they're more powerful, and their stats are different because they split the special into special attack and special defense. So it's not exactly as I remember it. Like, an Alakazam, for example, is not nearly as devastating a beast as it used to be. And that change came about from Generation 3 onwards, where they separated the specials. Because there's physical attack, special attack, and status effect, like status attack. Yes, that is true, the amount of different duties that you can do. It's quite a lot. Like, Pokemon is surprisingly very, very in-depth. Like, feint attack, as we found out from that Flaffy, was a physical attack. And I know that because of the fact that I got it static to activate. Whereas if I had used Ember, because it's a special attack, it wouldn't have triggered static, and therefore it would be safe from paralysis. But it is also a game of chance, like there is that as well, that can have an effect, like critical hits, stuff like that. There's a lot to keep in mind when playing the game. The music's different because of the fact that it's a remake as well. It sounds a little different, I'm used to. So outside of tidying your room, Silent, what else are you planning on doing?
I'm gonna time a room, play some Nintendo Wii, and then later on in the evening, I'm getting a couch delivered.
Nice.
A new couch. And that's about it for my day.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting a new couch for ages. So,
Previous one starting to grate on.
it took up a lot of room. It was a really big one, and it was a little knackered, so we had to cut it up to fit it in the car. It was a pain in the ass. And then, because obviously I want to fit my arcade machine next to it, so that's why I got a smaller couch. But it's still nice, but smaller.
Yeah.
So I can fit it next to the arcade machine next to the couch. That's the idea.
That's fair. Fair.
Oh. And there we go. Yeah. As for games, I haven't actually played an awful lot recently.
Yeah, you've been mainly focused on your new job, haven't you?
Yeah, just doing bits and bobs. But I've kind of had a little urge to play an RPG. So I'm thinking soon I
Pokemon?
might play. I would if my DS was working. But no, I think I'm at some point we'll play Breath of Fire 4.
Oh, nice.
It's a really good one.
Yeah, I've heard good things about the Breath of Fire series. I've not properly delved into it, though.
Well, Breath of Fire 4, I mean the whole series has a cool art style, but Breath of Fire 4 on PS1's just got a beautiful art style, like, it's really nice. And also it's not overly complicated. It's fun, it's fairly simple, it's got a bit of, interesting sort of mechanics, but it's yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
So you might like it, because I know you said, well, you've not played an awful lot, have you? Of Final Fantasy, I mean, you know, stuff like that.
I believe I got into one engagement and then immediately noped the hell out of it, because active time battle is grim.
Well, that's the thing with 5.4 is turn-based, like true turn-based, you know, where it's you know,
I slap you about, they slap you about, so on and so forth.
Well, I prefer true turn-based, where like kind of like Pokemon, where you can take your time, you don't have to rush. I want to be able to think about strategically what I'm doing, you know, what I want to use. I want to relax. I don't want to rush it like Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, Final Fantasy was like, I don't know what was going on there. I know that the earlier games, before, I believe, like 9, well, before 7 and 9, is true turn-based.
Yeah, I've not played any of the ones before 7.
And then from like
I imagine
10 onwards, it's either you do get true turn-based or it's real-time. So it'll actually feel like you're playing something like Devil May Cry or something like that.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 10 is true turn-based, which is cool. Just take your time with that one. And it's
If
fully
you
voice
can
acted,
deal
so
with
that's
friggin' Fetus.
Well, 10's a good one because, well, it's just a really good game on PS2, and also, it's fully voice acted and it's true turn-based, so it's like it's a good one for like new people who, you know, for first Final Fantasy game for someone, because it's like you don't even have to read the dialogue. It's just, you know what I mean, fully voice acted, true turn-based. It's really good.
Yeah, just as long as you can deal with Tidus's really, really bad voice.
It's,
That
Final
forced
Fantasy's
laugh,
most,
though. Ugh.
Well, according to the director, it's supposed to be like ridiculous, but yeah, it is bad.
Like, there's ridiculous and then there's awful.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think the Japanese one is similar, you know. The Japanese one. I think it's also a terrible laugh.
Oh dear. It wouldn't surprise me if they actually just took the Japanese laugh and said, yep, we're just going to use that for the English.
That's true, actually.
It really would not surprise me, because there's a few games that have used like the Japanese sound effects over the English voices. Like some of the early Dynasty Warriors games up until I think Dynasty Warriors 5, if you were playing English, still used the Japanese voices in fight.
Yeah, I guess sometimes they're a bit lazy, I guess.
Well, in terms of Koei Tecmo, yeah. That is literally the mother of all creation for them. It's their laziness.
Yeah.
Square Enix, on the other hand, well, can't be budget constraints, because during the time of FF10, they were actually quite good.
Oh, fucking... Pardon my French, yeah. They had a lot of money.
Yeah, they were basically friggin' Scrooge McDuck swimming in the cash.
I mean, they were doing not too bad before 7, but as soon as 7 hit, like, they became, like, ultra popular. Like, 7 introduced RPGs, well, JRPGs, and Final Fantasy to, like, a whole new audience, so that's a lot more money, a lot more people, brought it into the mainstream sort of thing. And yeah, from then on, like, 7, 8, 9, 10, loads of money. So. And
then here's me that's like, no, I did not grow up with Final Fantasy, I grew up with Dragon Quest.
I mean, that's cool. Yeah. The thing is, though, like, Final Fantasy VII is the first Final Fantasy game released in Europe. So we didn't get any of the other one, only US did. So
yeah, and America only got like a staggered number of them.
Yeah, the US got, I know they got 1. I think they got like 3 and 4 or something. I can't remember. 1, 3, 4,
then it suddenly jumped to 7.
I mean, at least they got some others. Like, we just got 7, the first one we got. Because I think Square were like, we'll just release it in the US. Because, you know, JRPGs are very Japanese, of course. So they were probably like, didn't want to gamble too much. They were like, we'll release it in Japan, we'll make money there. We'll release it in the US, see how it does. But I guess for Final Fantasy VII, they were like, screw it. This game's amazing, it looks amazing, we'll release it everywhere.
Soundtrack's okay, so yeah. I mean, I kind of, after you were playing the PC version of the game, I did enjoy the MIDI version of it more than I enjoyed the PlayStation version of it.
Yeah, MIDI's not bad sometimes. People, you know.
Like, it depends on the game, really, like, whether or not I actually will enjoy it from MIDI to...
Yeah, it depends on the game, but it's also... depends on obviously the people who made the game,
Game,
like
like-
how much effort they put into the MIDI soundtrack. Because some companies might just be like, oh well, it's just MIDI, don't bother. Some will actually
Yeah.
put good effort in, and it'll sound alright.
Yeah, like things like Bullfrog, for example. If you play the MS-DOS version of Theme Hospital, it actually sounds okay. It's just, I personally, because I've heard Theme Hospital as a PlayStation game initially, I'm used to the CD quality of the music for things like Candy Floss.
Yeah.
So I'm always sort of recoiling whenever I hear Candy Floss in MIDI, because it's like, that doesn't sound right. Like, it doesn't sound nearly as upbeat, doesn't sound nearly as jolly, it just sounds kind of blah. But I could still see the charm in it a little bit, so I kind of was able to be like, yeah, I'm sure people probably would enjoy this.
Yeah.
Even if it's not my kettle of fish kind of thing. But Age of Empires did this as well with Age of Empires 1. Because I really enjoyed the Rise of Rome's music in MIDI, and then when I heard it in CD, I was like, this is weird. Like, it doesn't feel like it has the same sort of plodding pace that the, like, MIDI version had. Because, like, when you hear the MIDI version versus the CD version, you can hear there's some little differences to it, and it's either because they tried to make the CD version sound a little bit more exciting, whereas the MIDI sounds grounded because they didn't have as many notes.
Yeah.
And then, of course, now we've got the definitive edition, which is now basically DVD quality audio, as it were.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's not quite DVD or Blu-ray quality now, no one will give time of day of any of the music. And it's like, our speakers can only handle MP3, which is CD, at least. Well, at most, really. They can barely handle DVD. There are some monitors that can handle higher than that, but they're very few and far between, and that sort of thing is like professionally staged equipment used in like audiophile stuff. So
Yeah.
it's sort of, unless you're willing to spend mad buck to get that kind of quality of sound on essentially a bunch of monitors that is going to be basically dead space, that's
Yeah.
really hard. But it would be nice to hear those speakers from downstairs again, like if those actually could get working, because it's not mine, it's my family's, but they have a pair of speakers that stand to about as tall as my monitor does, kind of thing, from the desk.
Yeah.
And it's literally like a standing speaker, but they're big boxes, kind of thing. I think they have like ceramic, what's it, the disc thing? The ceramic discs in the,
I know what you mean.
what's it? That sort of conal monitor thing for when it produces the playback sound. Get what that's called.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I know you're on about it.
We have two of those, and I'm pretty sure those things may be around 8 to 9, maybe even 10-inch rounds, kind of thing. And there's two of them, sort of thing, I think, stacked on top of them. Maybe more than that. But it's sort of along the lines of, if you wanted that wall of sound effect, a good surround sound sort of thing, if I could have wheeled one of those buggers up here to use, and if they still worked, the wiring for them is probably archaic to hell, so that would need converting. But if those worked and they still sound good, can you imagine the kind of sound I could get with that?
Yeah, I mean, I use hi-fi speakers. I'm assuming that's what they are.
I think they are.
Like floor standing hi-fi speakers. That would go into an amplifier. It sounds like it. But yeah, I use stuff like that right now. That's my computer setup, but they're not that big.
But it's wood box as well. It's wood box. It's not plastic or
Oh no.
Or leather back.
Wood. JVC ones are wood. They're not massive though. They're just bookshelf ones.
Wait, you're using a Marshall amplifier?
Eh?
You're using a Marshall amplifier, JVC?
No, I've got JVC speakers, but I'm
using... bleeding say.
I'm using the Sony amplifier.
Ah! I was gonna say, just like, you're using a guitar amplifier to hear things? Like, what?
No, when I say amplifier, I mean like a AV receiver, you know, like... Yeah.
Mind you, it'd be nice to try and set up something that would use XLR on my setup, but at the moment all I've got is USB and
XLR.
Yeah, I've heard really good things with it, and especially if you hook it up to phantom power. Like if
it's a professional connection, XLR. It's like the best analog sort of audio connection. It's good.
Like, I'm currently still using a micro USB to USB kind of thing for my microphone, because it's an older model of the Blue Yeti, and then you've got the
you need the
Creative Lab speakers that are USB-C.
Yeah, Blue Yeti Pro, which is the one I have. I don't use it, but I've just got it somewhere in a drawer, but the Blue Yeti Pro has XLR.
I believe there's a new version of the Blue Yeti that uses USB-C.
Oh, that's cool.
Which, if that could actually also be hooked up to something similar to an XLR setup, that's going to be even nicer.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you get really good data transfer with that. Like, if you've got special data transfer type cables for that kind of thing, you could then route that sort of sound as, like, really, really high quality, and it's gonna sound glorious. Like, I've got these cables from Fastgear, which supposedly say that they're about like 10 gigabit, apparently, for data transfer. And if that is the case, and if they worked like that, that would be glorious right now. If I could get something like that for a USB.
Well, I'm using XLR right now, but this is just my headset. It's a headset. Obviously, headphones have a microphone, but it's got XLR. And then I've also my main mic, which is the Rode Procaster. That has XLR, but it's not phantom powered. It's just dynamic.
Yeah, because I'm gonna say, like, phantom power. One, that is very power intensive, but it does give out, I think, the best.
48 volts. Phantom power. Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, it's all down to the microphone, because phantom power is just like some mics need it, like condenser microphones, like the Blue Yeti Pro needs phantom power.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you don't need to use a phantom power, because the Blue Yeti Pro actually, you can use the USB port to power it, and then use XLR without phantom power, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
If you had an XLR input USB thing that didn't have phantom power, you could still use a Pro if you plug it in by USB.
Yeah, that'd be quite nice, actually, especially with the setup that I have. I mean, if I ever do finally move out after I've sorted my life out a bit more and I've got money behind me, the one thing that I am definitely thinking of, if I do move out, I've got to try and find a place that will allow me to put stuff on the wall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can do that anyway. You can just fill the holes up after, you know what I mean?
No, what I mean by that is, like, actually put things like paintings and, like, acoustic foam up and stuff like that, because some households, from what my brother has now experienced, don't allow you to do that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if it's just you living in the house, I wouldn't see the problem. Just even if you're not allowed, just because a lot of people like that are in situations like that. Like they'll be in a house where they're not allowed to have pets. They'll have pets anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I've noticed people just sort of do that, and some of the landlords.
He's not allowed pets. He had a rabbit and he's got cats. So it's like he doesn't. It's not. You know what I mean? It's fine, really. As long as you don't like get caught, I guess.
Yeah, as long as you don't get caught with your animals when a guy has strictly said no goddamn animals.
Yeah, but loads of people do that. Like, the thing is, no one's gonna come in and, you know what I mean? You're never gonna get. It's never gonna be an issue, basically. So, yeah. Unless you put a big sign outside your house saying I've got animals.
I mean, for me, it was sort of along the lines of, if I do that, I'd want to actually have, like, a house that will allow for animals anyway, kind of thing, like, if pets are allowed. Yeah. One, because in case my family decide to visit, they've got to bring Tyson with them, because they can't leave him and my other dog, Jessie, alone.
Yeah.
So it's sort of along the lines of, well, one of them's got to come with, so let's bring Tyson. So in that regard, it's sort of along the lines of, this is not going to be a request, it's a demand. I have to have animal available, kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I love having a cat around, so...
Bernard's probably getting quite old though, isn't he?
Hey?
Bernard's probably getting quite old now, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he's old now, like 16.
Jesus Christ, he's lived well.
He's old, but he doesn't look it or act like it. Like honestly, he's like he just jumps around, runs around, he's energetic, but he looks young as well. He doesn't look tired or old. Like he's had checkups and he's like super healthy, like spry. But no, I'll always want an animal if I can afford it, because I like having pets,
And there we are, we have a Meganium.
Oh, nice. What level was that?
32. Settle down. I don't remember what it does. Scattering petals for free turns, the user then becomes confused. I don't think I want, if I'm honest. Unfortunately, it wasn't Nishiki that leveled up, so still on the grind. I will get this fish leveled up just so that I can then catch it again as a shiny. I'm sure there's an irony to this. I've also remembered I'm not set as on streamer mode for Discord, so let's do that quick. There we go.
I am just going to get a bacon bap. Won't be a second, sir.
Alright. A bacon batch! Whoa. Wouldn't exactly mind, I've only had a bowl of cereal. I don't know how long I'm planning on going for. We've nearly gone for an hour. So, we're in good graces now. Touch wood. The carp has not developed. No, not yet. But my starter has. But hopefully your I take it it'll be either a run or it'll probably be some cycling that you'll do, Arte. One or the other. Ooh! When you do that, are you going to make sure that you record it as well, so that when you next go live you can showcase it? Because those are always fun when you do that, because we get to go sightseeing with you. Ah, running today. Fair enough. Hopefully all goes well on that department. All this just so that my Magikarp can become a Gyarados. Gonna take a little while, I can tell. Oh yeah, I actually forgot. I need to post something actually on the server. Well, not on the server. I need to post this in the chat. So, for those of you who have been aware of me for a little bit, you'll know that I do some voiceovers. Wow. I've took part in a online thing right now. I took part in something that has now been uploaded to Amazon under the Amazon Prime subscription. So what I'm about to post is essentially episode 1 of that. I will appear in episode 7 vocally. I'm not acting or anything other than voice. But this was a fan project I was doing by the name of Dead Legion. It was really fun, actually. I enjoyed myself when I did it. But hopefully everyone else will enjoy that. If you have the pennies and a subscription, do give it a watch. If you can't, then, well, oh well. At least I have shielded it, as it were. But yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy that as a little side thing to watch for everyone, really. Tried filming while running a few times, still not good. Yeah, you need something that's probably got like a gimbal to it, like an actual physical gimbal, so that as you're running, if you're bobbing up and down and the camera's on your head, that it can kind of try and keep itself stabilized. Bring the camera with me in case I do decide to film after run. Yeah, that's true. There's no point trying, not unless you're going to do some night vision camera work, which is quite tricky to do. Especially at the at how dark things get. Well, that's quite tricky. But yeah. Anyway, hopefully you'll enjoy that thing that I've posted. If you do have an Amazon subscription, that series has 15 episodes that will happen. That will take until around the mid-July, I believe, to finish, because it'll be bi-weekly that the uploads will happen. So if you wait until July, they'll all be uploaded on Amazon. If you do not have an Amazon account, an Amazon Prime account, do not fret. There is also going to be other ways that you will be able to watch it. They might upload it to Netflix, they might upload it to like other places like that. we'll have to wait and see, but the prime area that they're going to is Amazon Prime for this sort of thing, so yeah. I've said what episode I'm in. I'm not going to say what part I'm part of, but you'll just have to watch and enjoy. But yeah, thank you very much for the congrats on that. Yeah, I really do enjoy the project. I love it to bits. I need more in that regard. Like, I've got some more planned for games stuff right now, but I'd love to do more later down the line. Yeah, I'll let you know, Arte. I'll let you. Compia, welcome in. I know that it is Snake. I know that is what it is. When you read it backwards, there's no secret there. I know that a little too well. Same with Arbor. It's just Cobra. Doesn't really do anything though. Still trying to get through Nishiki's levels. Why did Nishikiyama have to take so long to level up? Woof. So rough. Yeah, I'll let you know, Arte, if it pops up on Netflix. I've got a feeling it might, but who knows? It might show up there. Oh, welcome back, Roxas. Glad to see that you're eating good. You've now evolved into a Meganium. Ha ha ha! Joke's on you, mate. I did not even need a Hypno or a Drowsy to disable. I just bum-rushed it. Whitney is weak. I will go on record to say that myself. They're weak. They're not that powerful at all.
Hello, youngster.
Oh, welcome back. Right now, though, I'm just currently struggling with trying to level up Nishikiyama here, so that I could actually have a Pokemon that can use Surf. Yes, you are indeed, Roxas. What was that about Pikachu? Sorry.
Can you learn Surf?
Possibly, but I think that might have been an in-joke thing, and I think it can only be done with Pokemon Yellow's Pikachu when you trade it. Yes, that is great to hear, mate. That's great to hear, but when you don't have the ability to actually go out and catch one, because I don't know where on earth I can get one. Yeah, that's quite problematic, because I have a feeling that also still requires you to know a mon that can surf. Alright. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. That doesn't do anything for me here. That no favors. I mean, I've not really properly played by Gen 7 all that much, so I don't really know. I kind of skipped a few generations, I believe. Because I went from, like, Gen 2, where I began, Gen 3, completely missed out on Gen 4, did a bit of Gen 5, or, like, first half of Gen 5, there's more to it. Missed out on Gen 6 for a while until more recently. Gen 7 I've hardly even touched when I did try it. And Gen 8 I completed it, mate. Gen 9 I'm basically at the point of clearance anyway. It's just a matter of I now need to go legendary hunting to truly complete it. In Gen 1, I've just blitzed, so... Are you enjoying your, bacon batch?
Yeah.
Had to think then.
It's because I'm eating it.
Caught you mid-eating. I seem to be good at that. Yeah, if I come off a bit sort of passive-aggressive, it's because of the fact that that does not help me. That's the only problem with compare. If it actually did help me or could warrant some sort of use in the game, then great, but since it doesn't, because this is Gen 4, and also I'm only playing partly a DS game, and that game is 3DS. That doesn't really do much for me. Gotta love when a Pidgeotto actually knows friggin' Whirlwind. That's really annoying. All this grinding is gonna take a little while. Hope you guys have brought tea, or coffee, or something drinkable. Because we're gonna be here for a little while. Until Nishiki finally becomes a goddamn dragon.
Good old dragon.
I mean, not literally, like, Nishiki's not going to become a proper dragon, but, like, it'll become something of use.
Yeah.
Because Gyarados are quite helpful. Yeah, I've just shilled for my part in Dead Legion, which I posted on the chat, which is that Amazon link.
What's that?
There's I did a bit of voice dubbing for a character in it, as well as provided some additional Foley sounds for zombies, because it's basically like the price of however much shoelaces are, is how much the production work was, but from what you can tell, or from what I can tell with the content I saw in the trailer, it was actually pretty good stuff, really.
So how did you do that then? Did you contact them?
I talked about something to do with voiceover stuff for a friend of mine on, I think it was West 3D Hub. It was by the Discord username Killing You. And it was sort of like, he was part of the group as a voice artist for that stuff. So, any sort of sounds like, especially in the Battle for Dune Spice Wars mod that was in, I think it was called Spice Wars, something like that. It was basically an FPS game, and he does some of the voices for the House Atreides announcer and the House Harkonnen announcer. And it actually sounds quite fitting when you hear his voice in those roles. Sounds really cool. But I said, look, I'm sort of a budding voice actor. I've done a few things here and there kind of thing for other mods. I'd like to help out with W3D in terms of voiceovers, if there is any available. That would be appreciated if that is. There wasn't at that point in time for that sort of thing for the game, but he then brought me over to the idea of, well, here's Dead Legion that we're doing, so how would you like to be a part of this? I said, yeah, why not? Go on. I then took a look at some characters with some scripts to try and figure out where I wanted to go into it, and yeah, I kind of went with it. I provided zombie sounds like how we all supposedly did for the fan dub of Resident Evil, although I don't know if we used them.
Can't remember actually.
I don't think we did. I think we just kept to the default sounds for the zombies, but everyone else was dubbed, so like you'd just hear me just like, oh, kind of thing. Just like every time I get nommed on my neck, it's like, ah! Like, shit! Although I think my best from that fan dub was definitely Flamewh33l's.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
I really should get that like audio clip and just put that in for the bot, for the chat bot that I've got, just so that people could actually hear that. It's like, yeah, we're gonna have our own meme sounds. Let's do that. That is a point. I need. Well, I don't know if I should either restart that or if I should carry on playing where I left, because I'm pretty sure I'm near the end of the band up now.
Where are you?
I can't recall. I think I've beaten Yawn, so I think I've beaten them. I think I'm in the lab.
Yeah.
So I think I'm basically near the spitting range of the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't think I've witnessed Wesker's betrayal just yet. Because you gotta love Tesla's yes, you're alive kind of voice. Although I did find it funny how I literally was the only one that kept on script.
Yeah, but that was kind of good in a way because most people departed from it, so it's good that you kind of stuck to it. So there's a bit of sense of like coherency in the script. You know?
Yeah, like you play Chris's side of the story, you'll actually understand what I'm saying in Japanese if you are from overseas.
It's because like if everyone drifts from the script too much, then it might not make sense. But because
Yeah, like the idea that what was it? Harvey went with the idea that the first zombie you meet is Joe Biden.
yeah.
It's like really showing the fact that you're a redneck lady, aren't you? It's like not even trying to hide it. She's a good lass, though.
Oh yeah.
Good fun. I think she actually tried to ask me a couple times when I popped into her stream at one point. How's the postal service doing? Like, is it still striking, or...?
Oh, she's asked that.
Yeah, because I didn't keep up with it, so I'm like, I don't know.
I think it's stopped now. Yeah.
Because you might want to let her know that I'm pretty sure it's stopped so that you can send stuff over. She's wanting to send things over.
Yeah, I need to. I'll let her know next time I see her. Yeah, because Royal Mail was striking for a number of times. I mean, everyone was like NHS now.
They still are near enough.
Yeah.
I think the only ones who aren't are now the Royal Mail, thankfully, for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the buses are still striking. I think the trains are still striking.
Yeah, I think so.
So, basically, complete mass transit around the country has halted. So it's sort of along the lines of, good luck if I was to try and get to Manchester. For whatever reason.
Yeah, the trains, I mean, they do schedule dates for strikes, so I mean, as long as you go on, like...
Oh, aye, yeah, like, it's one thing you can at least be thankful for.
Yeah.
Just like, at least the friggin' trains have the decency to tell you when they're going to. Nobody else gives you such luxury. It's only when you hear it on the news that you finally realise, oh wait, there's strikes.
Yeah.
I could have done with knowing that a little earlier, but here you go. Still, it'd be nice to go out a bit more. I hardly have time to get trains nowadays.
I mean, yeah, it's good to get out and do stuff.
I think the last time I went to a train, or went on a train, was to go to and from to Liverpool and from Liverpool from Ellesmere Port.
Yeah.
To kind of give you an idea of when the last time I was on a train, and those trains are like They look more like boxcars more than anything. They don't really look like anything else.
I mean, yeah, the trains are updated now. They've got air conditioning and they're pretty good.
Yeah, these ones didn't. Mind you, like, the first train I went on was a Virgin train, which was, when I went one time at primary school, I went to London.
Ah.
God, it was a miserable place. Well, the only sort of redeeming quality was we met this homeless guy who ended up with a dog.
Interesting.
Don't know where on earth he managed to get a dog, but he now had a dog. So it was sort of like a, oh nice, beautiful dog, golden retriever I think. I mean, hey, at least he was kind. He didn't really look that bad either for being homeless and so on and so forth, to the point where I almost thought he was an aged actor. Just to sort of either try and spook the kids or to jeer them along, as it were. Because it's like, London's not really a great place.
Yeah.
I do wonder how he's doing, because, yeah, he seemed quite old.
Hopefully he's doing alright.
Yeah, touch wood. But I haven't been since that time at primary school, so...
Yeah, last time I went to London was when I was meeting Deck and Tesla. It wasn't too bad. It was busy. Although it was the weekend.
Usually is out by that direction. Must have been expensive though for the tickets.
It was like 100 quid.
Wait, 800?
No, 100.
I better blade and say, Jesus Christ!
No, it was 100.
Oh yeah, it's 800 bob. Just for...
I mean, it's whatever. It is going to the other side of the country. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because we're mainly northerners, aren't we? Going to the south.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a bit weird that. And everyone wonders why on earth the Brits all sound the same. It's like, no we don't, it's just you're too used to hearing the sounds of, well, Londoners.
Yeah.
If you actually hear the rest of our accents kind of thing from around the place, you'll notice that we both act, sound, and speak, and so on and so forth, completely differently from one another.
Yeah.
It's like the sort of old notion that a lot of Brits had of America, where, and even I am guilty of that stereotype, where I thought most American, most Yanks ended up sounding kind of like hillbillies or cowboys.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, no, it couldn't be farther from the truth. There are that branch that are down into the south of America, but they're not sort of the most prominent figures. The only reason they're most prominent is because Hollywood kind of made them out to be the stupids, as it were, even though they're not.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for them in that regard, being brought down by that stereotype, but even then.
Yeah, well, we are stereotypes in regards to people thinking that we all love tea. And I don't
yes,
like
in fact, I got to a point where a few Americans had actually thought I was just a straight-up walking teapot. With a top hat monocle, and one of those big twirlable mustaches.
Hey, that's pretty. I mean, the Tash is.
Just like, hey up, he's a bit too British to be British, I think. I say, Whittle's mustache. Like he's freaking... like he's dastardly, like Dick Dastardly kind of thing. Well, isn't this a rather bitter bother? I mean, that does remind me, there's quite a few more bits of voiceovers that I need to do. I need to get on to them. I might do them Wednesday because Tuesday I'm working.
Yeah. Are you still working part-time?
It's coming down to it now, because it was, from what I could tell, 16 hours at one point, which is just on the brink of full-time.
Yeah.
But they sort of staggered it, so it was like, I'm doing 3 days, but, well, at that time it was 3 days, but now they've dropped me a day, so I'm now, as I say, pretty much part-time.
Yeah.
Because I'm only doing 11 hours. Well, less than that now, actually, because they decided instead of me starting at 11, when I go to work now, it's I start at 12. And finish 5, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm now down to 10 hours. From 11 hours. So, well, from 16 to 11 till 10 hours.
I mean, it's still some money, you know. So...
Oh yeah, it's a fair bit of coin to it, but... It's sort of... One job nowadays doesn't seem to pay the bills no more. Oh god, the dogs. Ah dear. Yeah, like one job that pays minimum wage didn't do much, and obviously the better I do, the more I'll get paid, but it'd be nice to sort of branch out to something else. Now, they did try one time to do cake. Like, they had me try and do a cake.
Yeah.
Which was cut a slice off. But I had accidentally put it for 10 seconds too long when that happened. And I then... Well, so it was too hot. I had scraped the knife on the bowl, because it was in a bowl. The extra crumbs and sauce was being on the rim, which wasn't good, apparently. And then yeah, it was sort of a combination of that and then a few other things. But it was sort of along the lines of, well, at least I got the weird squiggly line down and the bowl of ice cream that was meant to be with it. Got those correct. But they decided it was probably best not to have me do cake. So instead I ate that. But it was sort of along the lines of, I heard one thing from the guy who was trying to teach me how to do it. I did do his exact wording, what I needed to do, and because of it, I still balked it up. So it was like, this was exactly what you just said to me to do, and I did it. So, this doesn't work. Yeah. We have fun. Kinda have to. And I am getting faster at scrubbing the pots, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the longer you're there for, the better you get, really.
Yeah, because there was a point where I started, I was even still in by 11 kind of thing. I was taking long.
Yeah.
So they were starting to complain. I was getting worried because of the fact that my dad was then sort of getting annoyed with me at that point because I was taking too long. So I was like, yeah, let's maybe not do that. Let's try and actually learn to hurry up a bit more. But out of the KPs, it was sort of along the lines of, at least outside of speed, my track record was immaculate.
Yeah. You'll go faster.
Hmm. And I think I have. Like, I think I've gotten much faster. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy what I'm doing. I do find it therapeutic, and I'm listening to my music as I'm doing it, so I'm jamming.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's not like I'm sort of miserable and just kind of like doing it quickly because of I'm just here to get paid. It's like, no, I actually want to show signs that I can prove myself to be good.
Mm.
I mean, ideally, I don't really know what I want to do while I'm there, kind of thing. I still haven't figured out whether or not I want to actually stay in and do, like, just KP, or if I want to move up on something else.
Yeah. I mean, it's just time will tell, really. At that point.
Initially, I was thinking sort of front of house because of the fact that with that, I've already done a serving background before. I've served food to people. So, and there's been a couple times where I've been pulled away for a moment to do a thing that should have been done by the front of house, like clear an ashtray and stuff like that. So it was sort of along the lines of, oh, right, okay, kind of thing. Yeah, I'll get that done for you. Something that really should have been done by them. But hey, I'm just the lowly KP who's meant to just shut the gob and do something to keep stuff going. I'm not supposed to say, do, or whatever, anything.
Yeah.
Right, anyway, I now have my Gyarados, so I can actually,
Nice.
I will get to the Gyarados up there, it's just I want to make sure that everything's healthy and working and brilliant. I forget that some of the music is definitely a little bit more weirder because I'm used to the 8-bit soundtrack, and I don't think the DS is 8-bit. I don't even think it's 16-bit. I think it's 32-bit.
No, it's 32, yeah.
So it's like, wow, hearing 32-bit music that used to be 8-bit. It's like, woof, that's weird. I mean, wasn't the Game Boy Advance, like, was that 16-bit, or was that...
I think that was 32-bit. Actually, yeah, maybe the DS is, Yeah, maybe the DS is like. Actually, yeah, the DS is on because yeah, the Game Boy Advance is 32-bit, and obviously the N64, I guess, is 64-bit.
It must be, because the fact that, like, you got a lot of sound difference from, like, the Game Boy Advance versus the Game Boy.
Well, the DS had games like Mario DS, which is Mario 64, and it had Resident Evil 1 on it and stuff like that. So it must be like, I mean, there's not really a bit sort of thing, but I think it's like more like 128-bit or something. Like PS1.
Probably visually it showed up as that much, but it was sound-wise probably still like 64-bit.
Yeah, probably.
Which is really, really weird, especially when you've gotten used to hearing a certain sound.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, we'll especially get to when we get to Lavender Town, like, things will sound a little different. It's like, that actually sounds way jollier than it really should be. I mean, it's now a flippin'... It's now a radio station kind of thing that's there. It's now that, rather than a, giant tower cemetery, so... Of course, it's going to be less miserable because of that. Quite a few Gyarados out in this water. Wonder what's going on. Oh wait, I think I know what's going on. It's this shiny Gyarados. It's over here. You see it? Ugly little bugger, isn't it? Don't know what this voice is. I could be honest. Go on, Abby. Flamewh, if he actually sounded like he was from the south. Oh god, it's level 30.
Damn, level 30.
Ah! If I'm gonna be honest, I don't see myself catching anything. If I do, great. If I don't, then oh well. It'd be nice if I catched it, but I don't think I've got any Pokeballs. But I have a feeling it's gonna crit. Oh god. Oh Jesus Christ, it was Twister. Alright, you lugnut. Let's see what we've got. Oh, we have some great balls. Let's try one of these. 1, 2. Yeah, had a few. Almost. Almost. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a straight 40 damage. Woof. That hurts. Item last used, please. One good ball. 1, 2, 3. There we go.
Nice.
Caught the little Todger. Right, there we go. Would you like to give a nickname to it? Yeah, why not? Oh, it's a female. Great. Let's see. Trying to think of a name for it. Let's go with... Yeah, let's go with that one. Oh, that one seems quite good. I think that's how you spell it. Yeah, it is. Desdemona. And there's the red scale. Grandpa isn't a Pokemania. Of course. Oh, hi, Lance. Yes, I remember you, Lance. You were one of the Elite Four. In fact, I think you still are. Yeah, sure, I'll help you investigate.
Yes, yes.
Cheeky bugger knows how to fly. I call that cheating. Oh well. Oh, hey, look at that. It's a Team Rocket headquarters.
What was that in a shop?
Yep. Hey, intruder alert! What do you think you're doing in here, bub? I'll have you know this is private property. You're going down, chump. Yeah, have you figured out what game you're going to be playing on the Wii?
I was playing a Super Robot Wars game, but now I'm playing.
Oh, nice.
I'm playing Dawn of War right now.
Dawn of War!
Yeah, I'm trying to campaign on hard mode. It's pretty annoying.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine it's quite hard. I do need to actually try and get better at Dawn of War.
Yeah, it is good fun.
Unfortunately, I only have Dark Crusade. I don't have any more.
I mean, Dark Crusade's the best one, really. I mean, Soulstorm, you get extra races and a few maps, but overall, especially the campaign, Dark Crusade's better.
Yeah, but if I'm going to be playing multiplayer with people, like, isn't Soulstorm the better one?
Well, to be honest, none of us picked the extra races. This is a battle or Dark Eldar, so I mean, we could, playing Dark Crusade's fine. Well, I got fucked. Bloody Eldar.
The Eldar are pretty vicious.
Yeah. They were a bit too quiet. And I was like, I wonder what they're doing, and then they just came out of nowhere.
Then suddenly, oh god, Eldar!
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's definitely, I enjoy it, but it's definitely slow.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those, like, you need something to keep pace with.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And if you're not really good at talking, like, I'm not that good at it, it's very hard.
Yeah, I get what you mean. It's just one of those.
Like, I'm not one of those grand personalities like you, Decky, so on and so forth, who
I'm not.
and Quantum, who's able to pull, like, I don't know, 10 to 20, maybe more people who are actively chatting.
I mean, anyone can do that, to be honest. You just gotta do it for long enough. You just gotta, you just get regulars, don't you?
I mean, the regulars that I do get, if any at all, are pretty much like, can't stop, we're pretty much doing something else. So it's sort of along the lines of, well, I can't exactly help you out on that front, then with the timing that I've got, kind of thing, with what time it is to me, it's like, oh dear, gotta deal with everything else.
Yeah, you just gotta get into the game, I guess. Obviously, if you're playing a game you're not interested in, it's not gonna help.
I mean, I love Pokemon, that's the thing, but I'm sort of a... I can quietly sit there and play it kind of thing with no problem. Like, I don't find there being much of a problem in me just sort of sitting there playing it quietly myself. But some people either enjoy the sound of my voice or are after something else with it, I think, so... Like, I do miss when things used to be quite fun, entertaining, and interesting. Sort of I could play anything and, like, someone else would near enough talk for me and I'd just bounce off from them.
Yeah. But of course, yeah, obviously. I mean, yeah, if you're talking to people in chat, I mean, that's pretty much what you need to do.
Hmm. Because, like, when was the last time when I did a stream, a very long stream, where I sort of really sounded like I was having a lot of fun with people that I was around, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I'd argue that time was when I was still friends with Seth.
Hmm.
Because him and I bounced off of each other quite well.
Yeah.
So him and I, we used to be quite good with one another, and I know he's kind of living rent-free in my head now at this point, and he's probably laughing his head off, thinking like, wow, he really can't get over it.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I'm not as plagued by it now as I was when it kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I let things get the better of me.
Yeah.
Hey Shiva, how's it going?
Yo, Shiva. The legendary Shiva.
Yeah, I kind of let it get the best of me for a while, and then it was sort of like, now I've kind of lived to cope with it without him, so it's like, I can deal with it.
Mm.
It's just like Vin's tarot reading said, and she did a tarot readout for me.
Do you believe in that stuff?
Sort of. She had done a readout for me, and I think it was a tiger and a prince or something like that, and it was along the lines of, I will see success, and it will require me, in order to see that success, to lose something I hold dear.
Mm. So that would say that you're gonna see success soon.
I mean, outside of them still living rent-free in my head, yeah, near enough.
Yeah.
Like, I still think of them. I still ponder what life would have been if I had actually managed to keep them as friends rather than letting them slip my hand.
Yeah.
But such is life, kind of thing. I let that happen, and my burden to bear. I just need to try and not let it get the better of me. I love the people that I've met along the way and still speak to. I love you to bits, kind of thing. Great.
Mm.
And those I could still hold close to me, but I didn't push away. It was great.
Yeah. I mean, these things happen in life, you know. But one day, you know, I'm sure you'll come to terms with it. You know.
I've already hit the terms of doing it. It's the only thing that I just have is the fact that, for me, I'm still holding on to a past, thinking that there might still be one day when I can go back to.
Yeah. I mean,
Clearly,
yeah,
that's not the
thing,
case with
you
Seth.
wanna not-
Like, he's cut me out. Vin's more than willing to cut me out altogether. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if she's cursed me at this point. Well, not just at this point, or like, sort of, as soon as she cut ties with me. And yeah, then I kind of lost Sao because of the fact that even though I brought him to Seth,
Mm.
so it's sort of along the lines of this was a guy I considered my friend that I'm bringing to the server.
Mm.
And yeah, that happened, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of friends you'll have, and they're good friends, and then you won't be friends, and that'll be it forever. But at the end of the day, you're gonna make new ones, and it's just, it's, you know,
Yeah.
there's lots of people I don't speak to anymore who I was great friends with, but it's not the end of the world. I'm happy.
I mean, the more
So,
weirdest shit is the fact that now Seth's sort of... He's always talked down the idea of not having a webcam, and now he's webcam streaming again? Like, when he used to do webcam videos when he was recording, but he hated it because he didn't like the way that he was looking that point in time.
Yeah, people change, and you know.
So it's sort of along the lines of, well, Sao must have had a difference to him, same with Murta.
Not necessarily. People just have a change in mind, you know. They can get influence from anything. It doesn't have to be a person.
I don't think he'd be the kind of guy to just do it, sort of thing, like... Unless he really was, like, into the idea of it, kind of thing, he...
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, one day you'll stop thinking about it, and yeah, you'll have lots of friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of why I ended up reclusing away over to your server and Mitsu's server, sort of along the lines of... You seem to be the only people who, one, don't really judge, and two, are able to just sort of go, oh yeah, you're in a bit of a rut kind of thing, it's a bit shit that you're in there, but you've still got us, as it were.
Yeah.
Which is, honestly, kind of what I need.
Well, yeah. It's understandable. Oh. Ah, I lost again. Can't do hard mode.
Hard mode
Done
must
hard.
really be hard if you're struggling with it.
Well, I've been doing insane mode, which is the hardest, on skirmish. I've been doing fine, but doing hard mode on campaign, I'm just getting screwed.
Yeah, I imagine.
Where's my Amazon package?
Oh, what are you getting?
Some electronic stuff. Like a isolation transformer and a variable transformer. Some flux and some isopropyl alcohol, so weird stuff, basically.
What do you need all of that for?
Electronic stuff. Like fixing stuff, modding stuff.
Oh yeah, I gathered that part of
But
it, but like...
you need the isolation transformer. It's like a big transformer you plug into your wall socket, and then you plug a device in it that you want to repair. Like, say you're working on a circuit board that's powered on, like a TV that's powered on. You can check the voltages and stuff without getting a shock. Because if you plug it straight into the wall outlet 240 volts, you can get a shock. Whereas the isolation transformer basically prevents you getting a shock. So you can, it's like essential basically.
Yeah, that does sound quite helpful.
Yeah.
rather not know that my friend has turned to bacon because of the friggin' voltage.
Yeah, so yeah, if I'm quiet and I'm not around anymore, I know what's happening.
And especially with the amplitudes of UK households as well, that's going to be quite vicious.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly, and we're at 240 volts, whereas US is like 110, 120, so we're like twice as much voltage.
Well,
So
ours is more than America, and yet we're forced to 50 hertz usually?
America is 120 volts, we're 240, so we're double the voltage. Yeah, all the stuff runs 120. Yeah. So obviously, if you want to use like Japanese, because Japan's 100 volts, a little less. So if you want to use like a Japanese console or a US console, you have to get a step down converter, which converts 240 to like 110. And obviously, if you were in the US and you wanted to use a UK or European console, you'd have to
Step up.
step up.
Quite some lunacy heights as well, because that sounds quite vicious.
Yeah. But yeah, we've got like UK has like one of the safest plug sockets in the world, which is kind of interesting.
Probably because of the fact that we're also the one that has like the most amount of friggin' electricity going through a system as well.
Where it's like in the US, obviously it's just like two prongs for live and neutral. I mean, a lot of them don't even have ground or earth connection. But anyway, you can basically, because you hear a lot of stories in the US as well with kids sticking like screwdrivers in the plug sockets to the wall, and it's like they get a shock from it. But you can't do that in the UK because
If you hurt in the UK, you'll die.
well, no, in the UK it's impossible to do. That's why we've got the safest plug sockets. Because the live and neutral pins on a plug socket, you know, the two bottom ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. If you plug, like, if I was to put a screwdriver in that right now, I wouldn't get a shock. And that's because it's not. It won't let you do it until the top pin has something in it. It's like a latch.
Oh, the
So
earth cable.
When you plug, yeah. So when you plug the plug into the wall, that's why the top pin's longer than the other two on the UK plugs. The top one's longer than the bottom two because it means when you plug it in the wall, it opens like the latch for the other two. So
Why don't most like electrical companies from around the world adopt something similar to what the UK's plug system is?
I mean, they probably would, but I think it's a bit too late. You know what I mean? It's sort of like cemented in. It's like how currency and money is cemented in. It's like very hard to change because literally everything's like that sort of plug socket. Whereas like in hindsight, they probably would change it, but it's probably a bit too late, so let's just like deal with it, sort of thing.
I mean, the thing is, as well, with that type of latch for our plugs, it makes it a little bit harder to pull them out, so you've got to like deliberately grab hold of the plug and pull it.
Well, yeah, exactly, because it's got 3 prongs and it's sort of in there. It's a lot more sturdy, whereas like US plugs is just 2 prong, sticks out, and it's just the way it's designed. It's definitely not as
It does make sense why you can't have an electric kettle in the US, though.
Electric kettle?
Well, you can. It's just that the boiling speed of trying to boil water is going to take like next to an hour, whereas it only takes like what, 2 minutes in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I can't even have a kettle of fucking tea. I'm gonna boil a pot for it. Bugger.
That's probably why they drink coffee. Tea takes too long.
Well, just in general, they can't boil a kettle for coffee or tea kind of thing, so they've got to use a pot and do it the old-fashioned way.
Well, yeah, I think in the US they have filter coffee, don't they? Where it's like they don't really boil it. It's more like it's just
strain it
like,
through or something like that.
Oh, no, not even that. It's just a glass jar, big glass like see-through jar, and it goes onto like almost like a hot sort of plate, It's kind of like what you have, like, you know, electric sort of hob.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
like that, just on its own, just one of them, like an electric little plate, and you just sit it on there and it keeps it hot, and you just take whatever you want. So it's like not really boiling. It's sort of like it'll bring it up slowly, and when it's hot enough, it stays hot. That's like the generic sort of black filter coffee in the US. Basic sort of stuff. I mean, I don't know. I've not tried it actually. It kind of looks nice, but everyone, I've heard a lot of people say it's crap.
Well, having coffee that way.
Well, yeah, just a black generic sort of filter, US filter coffee or whatever. I prefer coffee made on, like, you know, properly. Coffee machine sort of thing.
Because there's like a bunch of different methods of making coffee.
Oh, there's loads, yeah. Like French
Like, there's
press and stuff.
AeroPress, French press, coffee
Yeah.
maker, siphon, cold brew.
Oh yeah, we do cold brew work. I'm not
The pour over method is probably what you're referring to, with that sort of pouring water over the filter with the coffee in there and just let it drip in. But there's like a bunch of different ones.
I think French press is the one where you put it in like the ground up coffee and water, and you just use like pressure, squeeze it.
Yeah. You have the espresso machine with that mocha pot as well, or stovetop espresso.
Machine, yeah, espresso machine that you put the coffee in, like little espresso cups, and you have a steam arm, put the milk in, and heats it up. That's the best.
AeroPress, brewing via steeping. French press, obviously, soft brew.
You're making me want a coffee.
There's just straight up coffee bags as well.
I mean, there's coffee beans. You can eat coffee beans.
Oh yeah, there's a siphon pot as well. Like, you can get a vacuum pot for coffee. Brewing using filtration or dripping, electric percolator. The Chemex brewer. That's one as well. It uses like a gooseneck kettle as well. Hario V60 as well. Weird type of filter thing. Kalita Wave. Vietnamese Thin. Apparently that's its own unique one. Melita Ready Set Joe. A plastic portable cone. That's probably what is like cheap American coffee. Will probably like
Cup of Joe. That's what they call it.
Bee House Dripper. Clever Dripper. Cold Drip Brewing, or Cold Brew.
Yeah, that takes 12 hours, at least for the ones we do.
Fucking hell, nitrous coffee as well, like pumping nitrous oxide in that.
Oh, I've heard of that. I've tried that.
Boiling coffee, there's cowboy coffee, and then Turkish coffee, which has its own unique fancy grinder. That's really cool, that. Mind you, this guy is just sort of like, says it to you straight, says it straight, and it's like, yeah, that's just how it is. 4 different sleeping disorders. Oh. I did not know that there were multiple sleeping disorders. I mean, I know that there was quite a few others. Well, time to deal with Pestrol. Or Petrol. Don't know why he's named after a fuel source, but there you go.
used to love the smell of petrol when I was younger. Don't know why.
Ah, screenshot. Oh, okay, thank you. I'll take a look at that in a moment, Roxas. I could really do with a coffee. Oh no. I have my own, like... Well, I don't have my own beans. I've got coffee that I've been buying from Gemporia that's called the Silk Road, which is Colombian Arapago beans that's been mixed with some traces of mushrooms in it. Nothing psychedelic, just something that's meant to, one, help relax the body and some other things.
Yeah.
Wow, Roxas, wow. You know you're hoping that you'll end up dying as well because of the fact that you said you hope you lose, right? And you'll be the first one to go as well, if that's the case. Oh god, coughing. But yeah, the type of coffee I've got, there's the mushrooms are either reishi or ganoderma, which is kind of like a... It looks kind of like an oyster clam type thing.
Yeah.
It's really nice, actually. That one lowers your stress. And then there's another one called Lion's Mane or Pom Pom Blanc. Which is actually quite good for dementia and Alzheimer's.
Oh.
Which, now that my nan from my mother's side is caught with it. Yeah. Dementia's a big thing in this household. I don't feel nearly as bad as I'm sure a lot of people who have ended up knowing family members who are victims to dementia are. It's like, surely I should feel a bit more sorrow for it, but I kind of knew that my nan was not really in a good mindset, and it was sort of along the lines of, I love her to bits, she's great and all. She's a bit cheeky though, at times. Mainly with my mum.
Yeah.
But I do love that about her. And while she couldn't remember who I was, because of that's what dementia does, I think I'm like the only one that's been sort of along the lines of, as much as it was sad that she didn't know who I was, I don't hold it against her, and I don't see the point of being mad at her for it.
Oh no, because it's not her fault.
Yeah. Plus, there are many reasons as to how I could be forgettable for her as well.
No, but she obviously wouldn't. I mean, that's just because of what happened.
Well, I've not been really around for her.
I think a lot of us are like that with grandparents and stuff. Like, honestly, quite normal to be honest. A lot of us aren't around. Especially when we're older. Like, obviously when you're younger, it's different. Just the way it is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Dude.
I mean, that's just how it is, I guess. Like, as I say, I don't hold it against her at all. And I honestly think it's better not to be upset about it. As much as a lot of people do end up being upset because of it.
Yeah. Decided I'm gonna play some Mega Man.
Hopefully that goes well.
Have you played it before?
I've played some of the game before.
I'm trying Mega Man 4. It's my first one.
Okay. Oh, the Dragonite flew up into the air. Jesus. That was a strong thunder.
Like you need a coffee.
Yeah, I could do with one. But yeah, you mentioned with your old workplace that you used to do a lot of different types of coffee.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously to appeal to a lot of people.
It wouldn't surprise me if you ended up actually deciding, do you know what, I might take some of that to refine the craft at home.
I mean, I buy the coffee from work that we use at a discounted price, of course, and take it home and use it on my coffee.
Good beans?
Yeah, yeah. It's the one we use that everyone buys, and we've got like the most popular coffee in the country. So, yeah, it's pretty good coffee. The coffee machines are alright. Obviously, it's not professional. I mean, the machines we use at work that you see at coffee shops, at least ours, are in like the £10,000 range. They're more than people. They're really expensive.
Yeah.
One I've got at home is just like £100. I mean, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I imagine it'd be pretty good to enjoy that stuff.
Well, you just have like, don't you just have regular coffee, like hot water?
Yeah, we don't really have any of the fancy stuff. I mean, we have a French press that my dad sometimes pulls out for fun and games. But we don't do things like Chemex and Ario V60 and stuff like that. We don't do any of that.
Yeah.
My brother does. He's been trying to actually master the skill and craft of coffee for quite some time. He's also been doing that for alcohol as well. Which is also why him and I have an interest in cocktails.
Oh, cocktails are good.
I've been enjoying my shorts a bit too much though. And shorts in this day and age are very expensive. Especially when you want good stuff. Like I had a bottle of this chocolate rum that was really, really nice. Well, that was really, really good. Ooh. Give me one moment. Sorry about that, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on beforehand, because I was hearing noise. The only other noise there I can hear is grunts. Is the sausage is walking about again. There he is. What are you doing, sausage? Oh dear. Hmm. Yeah, my chatbot is working, so there will be some audio stuff that you can do. Quite a lot now.
Hey, where's my controller? Go.
Oh,
That took me
nice.
ages to get to work.
And with that, I can now take part in the Mahogany Inn. There we go. Goodness me. Supposedly we'll be having pizza as well. That's gonna be nice.
Domino?
No, homemade. Haven't had Domino's in a while though.
Hey, Tuesday is the best day to get it if you are ever gonna get it. There's 2 for 2 Tuesday. Oh no, 2 for 1 Tuesday.
I was gonna say it's Monday today, dude.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, if you ever decide to get it on Tuesday.
Hmm.
Yeah, because 2 for 1, so 2 pizzas. Price.
Yeah. I tend to go for normally just a normal pepperoni one and then like a meat one.
Yeah, there's one I picked called the Meteor. It's got all sorts of crap in it.
If my dad was a fan of barbecue sauce, or well, just barbecue sauce in general, I'm pretty sure it would have been nice to have like a barbecue pizza-y type thing, but oh well.
Yeah.
I've also been sleeping really, really late, so I'm probably quite knackered from that.
Yeah. I'm trying to fix my sleeping pattern.
Mine was okay for a little bit, and then I've sort of just thrown it more recently. It seems to be when I'm at work, I'm fine kind of thing, because of the fact that I do try and keep an eye on when I should fall asleep or go to bed, so I'm not grouchy for it.
Yeah.
But like, as soon as the day is like free for me to do whatever kind of thing, it's like, yeah, nah. I just want to enjoy myself. I've horribly cacked this up. Hey Reaper, how's it going? Yeah, I've cacked this up. I thought as much. Do that. On that side. There we go. Like that. Alright. Fair enough then. Oops. Yeah, all's good, all's good. I think this might yet again be another one that I've cacked up. I wouldn't know when it comes to that. Didn't know there was a coincidence on Pokemon being on a Commodore 64. I have a feeling it's probably bootleg though.
Yeah, it must be.
Ah. Fair enough. Thank you very much. Yeah, for now, Reaper. Yeah. Yeah. It's... I think I messed that up again. Ooh. I must admit, I'm starting to get a bit of a headache. I'm thinking I'm dehydrated, so probably after this fight, I will go down and grab a drink.
Sounds good. Guess you could make a coffee too.
I'm thinking of having a coffee, yeah. If there's any hot water in kettle. Right, with that, I will be right back.
Okie dokie.
Ah, I'm back. Oh, hold up. I'm back.
Yo.
Ah, there we go. Right. Right, now that I've counted that up a second time, let's see if I can actually get through it this time. Right, so I'm gonna knock that out way, like that. I'm gonna knock this all the way over there. Do that some more, I think. Oh, I think I've cacked it again. Yeah, I have. How the hell are you supposed to do that? Not that way. And I am struggling with this ice puzzle. Jesus. I don't actually know what I'm supposed to do. Yeah, I'd like a how to get round it. Because this is actually in a weirder situation than the one I'm used to. Hmm. Ah. It was easier than I thought it was.
Sometimes that's the way.
As per fucking usual. Alright, let's see what price has got for us this time. This is probably be another Ruffle Stomp. Because most ice types are part water. Oh wow, you douche. Let's see if he's got another one of those in his pocket. Oh no, he doesn't. Fucking hyper potion, what's he like?
Hyper potion.
Oh, there we go, Pylo Swine. Ground type versus a grass type. Let's go. Just barely survived. Just barely. No, this blizzard's gonna kill. Alright, well there goes Roxas. Yeah, aren't you just... Oh Christ. Oh wow, you douche. That's a full restore. Burn, you bugger. Right when I could have done with the burn. Bring Roxas back to the fold. Nishki! Surf that baby up! Oh god, the hell. Oh, that's gonna go. Damn, that was close.
What?
Nishiki, you were a failure through and through. No wonder Kiryu was better. Yeah, I went there.
Oh.
Gotcha, old man. Why couldn't they have just kept it simple and made it so that it was just basically a giant ice rink that you could just skate around? But no, they had to make prices way harder than it needed to be, and then it turns out it was actually stupidly easy. God, I hate it when games do that, like... Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm the one that overthinks.
Possibly.
I can't help the fact that I'm autistic and therefore I overthink things. Joey, you really need to stop talking about the top percentage of Rattata. There's not really that interesting.
Good old Rattata.
Right! Oh wow, okay.
What?
So, I've beat 5 gyms, but I've missed 2 of them out. I've just beat the second to last gym!
Jesus, how have you done that?
I've beat the second to last gym, despite the fact that I've not even beat the other 2 that was before it!
Oh, Jesus.
I thought there was something a bit off with me playing around in Mahogany Town.
Speedrun strats.
It
Glitching out, skipping
Must be.
doing-
It was like I completely skipped 2 of the gyms I was meant to get. Which, I've got to be honest, I can't remember where they are. And I've just done a gym that is supposed to be the second to last gym. By accident.
Mm.
Because it was sort of a, it's on my way, I'll go get it. Turns out I should not have got it. Thank God for this Gyarados that I now have the ability to swim. I think Ekritique is, I think it didn't have a gym, or if it did, it was very, very easy to beat. That's not a gym, that's the old, Ujit. That's a gym. Yeah, I beat Morty, so... I went from fighting Morty to fighting Price, which I shouldn't have done. But hey, here we are, I've already done it. Bit late for me to go back on it now. I don't care to stop the evolution track of things. Pokedex. See one of those in ages. Name is Baoba. I used to run a safari zone in Fuchsia City, and it was becoming out of date with new entertainment options coming out. Decided to go overseas to learn the newest technology and open a state-of-the-art safari zone in Thionwood. Maybe more than a coincidence that we are chatting. Why don't you register each other's phone numbers on the Pokegear? I can give you a call once the safari zone is open before I call anyone else. You want to register? Sure, that's the way. I'll let you know over the Pokegear once it's ready. Excellent. We went to the bleeding Moo farm earlier. Right, I think I know where I am. Or where I was supposed to go. Because I have a feeling this direction goes to, if I recall, Jasmine, who is the steel type gym.
Oh yes, steel type. Was that actually introduced in Gen 2? Or is that
Yeah, that and dark type. Dark type was the answer to psychic types being too powerful, and steel type I think was an answer for ice types and a few other types being a little too good. Yeah, this looks to be where I need to. I must be honest, with the new Wheel of Struggle that's coming out this week, there's a lot of good games coming out now for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's like really loads. I must admit, with some of the games, I'm a little bit spooked about them. Like, for example, Symphony of the Night, because Castlevania is now on there.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm spooked on that is that I've not played Castlevania.
I've not played Symphony of the Night because I've never owned it and it's expensive. But yeah, I'd say just play Castlevania 4. It's a really good. It's like the classic.
The last one that the first one I tried to play and it ended up making me a bit jaded for the series was what was it called? I think it was called Dracula X.
Yeah, that wait, on what's this, on the SNES?
Yeah, the SNES.
Yeah, it's supposed to be PC Engine CD games, so the SNES is like a downport. It's not.
Yeah, I tried to play it and it was like really, really awful. I couldn't even get past the first level, so I was like, fuck this.
Yeah, so it's one of those. It is supposed to be tough though. I mean, Castlevania 4 is a good one because it's on the SNES, but it's like really hard regarded, and it's well built, and it's just like the originals, so it gives you an idea without having to play the NES ones because they're a bit janky and old.
Yeah.
The bad. But yeah, Castlevania 4 is good.
But I've not played Symphony of the Night. There's quite a few. There's even now an introduction of the Wheel of Sequels that's now been added. There's quite a few of the games that have been played are sequels, or had sequels.
Yeah.
So Grand Theft Auto, we did Vice City on Season 2, I believe, when I joined.
Yeah.
I was a god when it came to that game.
I still not finished it. I can't even remember where I got to. I had fun playing it. Vice City.
I think within 5 hours, or well, under 5 hours, I had managed to get a good amount of property. I think I had like 9 properties that were like story-based property. And the only things that were killing me, that prevented me from having to stop my run after I had died 3 times, 1 was my own stupidity, 2 was because of funky glitchy shit with the water, and I think another one where I just sort of was like, yeah, I'm just gonna die, because I got killed by the army when I was trying to get the tank.
Yeah.
Because yes, you've got to steal a tank for Cortez.
I mean, I didn't get too far into it, but I enjoyed it. But I played it on Xbox original, so it's probably the better version over PS2.
Yeah, it probably runs smoother.
Yeah. Did you play it on PC or PS2?
I played it on a PS2 emulator.
Hmm.
It was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I never played San Andreas either, and everyone says that's amazing.
A lot of people will probably say the Vice City was the biggest one to really kick GTA into the limelight. And especially because it was the first time we had a voiced protagonist in GTA that was quite a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately...
was the guy in GTA 3 not voiced? I can't remember.
Claude. No, he didn't have a voice. Everyone else
I
did.
can't remember. I only played like half an hour of GTA 3.
Yeah, Claude didn't speak. He did flip people off, though, whenever he nearly gets run over.
I mean, fair dues.
But that's about as much of a emotive he does. So it's, he didn't speak. Ray Liotta, who, unfortunately, after a few weeks of us doing that challenge, passed away. He was the voice for Tommy Facetti. So it was sort of like a... It was kind of cool because we had already played the game just a few weeks before his death. So it almost felt as if we were paying homage to him.
Yeah.
Played GTA 4?
No, that was Vice City.
No, have you played GTA 4?
Oh, no, I haven't.
No, it's pretty good. A lot of people actually compare it to GTA 5 and say it's better. I wouldn't say, like, it's as fun, like, GTA 4 is very, like, especially with the colours, it's very, like, bland and stuff. But in terms of, like, realistic, sort of, and the way the engine works, I don't know, but GTA 4 actually looks kind of, like, they skimmed out on a lot of stuff for GTA 5, surprisingly. I mean, you wouldn't notice it by just playing it. It's like
The only problem I have with GTA 4, from what I saw from a review of the game, there's not as many weapons as there used to be. And that sort of felt a bit shameful to me, because it's like, it's a GTA game. Game's gotta have guns. Lots of guns. Kind of thing. Gotta have lots of guns, and it's gotta have a lot of cars.
Yeah.
If it's gotten out of that, in fact, I don't even think it has a moment where you're flying either.
Well, no, you don't get in a plane, no. But you
Like, there's no
you can get in a
planes, there's no helicopters, there's
yeah,
nothing.
There's helicopters. No, there is helicopters.
Yeah, but you don't fly them.
Yeah.
Oh, I got told from the review that you don't get a chance to fly them.
No, that's not right. I've done it before. You can enter it. I don't know about the campaign, like as part of the campaign. I mean, I imagine you can, but you can enter a cheat code and spawn in a chopper, and you can fly it.
Yeah, but I think he was probably like, if you're playing it legit, kind of thing.
Well, it's legit. Like, it's not like a mod or anything. I mean, if you found.
But yeah, but you're using a cheat code, dude.
In the campaign. No, that's just to spawn it in. that's just like spawning a weapon in, or spawning in, giving yourself money. You know what I mean? It's part of the game. Just giving it to yourself. It's not like something that's not accessible. Like, I'm sure
he's going off of it as if like you can go to this place where you would expect to find this helicopter and be able to use it, kind of thing, without having to use cheat codes to do it.
Helicopter location. Let's see. Oh, there is, yeah. Helicopter. It's called the Annihilator. The helicopter. It's got like mini guns on it. GTA 4 appearances. There's 5 locations you can find in the main. It's just I haven't completed GTA 4. I played a lot of it, didn't finish it, so that's why I spawned it in for fun, because I'd get a bit like tired and then I'd just mess about with cheats. But yeah, you can definitely fly choppers. Like, that's what I used to do all the time, just for fun. Like, and like jump out the chopper in midair.
The trickiest part I think's gonna happen is that with GTA San Andreas, there's a few scenes where it's basically a rhythm, and you're gonna be made to listen to music, kind of thing. So, in that regard, it's sort of along the lines of, I have a feeling that in terms of trying to stream it on Twitch, that's not going to be possible without getting hit by a copyright strike.
I think that's the same with a lot of games like Fallout 3 or New Vegas with the Galaxy News Radio and
yeah, if you're not actually using the talk radio, for example, you're going to get boned, and that meant that a lot of people would have had to skip a lot of the cutscenes to sort of...
Not only that, but the music in those sort of games, including GTA, is part of the game. I feel like without it, it's missing a bit.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I honestly think that without the music, that it kind of defeats the object, the point, and everything else about playing the game. Like, you've got to have the music. Music is an integral part.
Yeah.
But I guess I'm the only one that thinks that way, personally.
Well, no, I kind of agreed with you.
I mean, the OST in that game is probably
I've not listened to the San Andreas one, because like I said, I've not played it, but I heard people were complaining with the HD trilogy because they had to change the music or whatever, so they weren't happy with that. So
I liked San Andreas' music. There are more radio stations in that game that I would sit there and listen to compared to Vice City. But even then, I would prefer to, like... I do prefer some of the stuff that Vice City had as music. I do prefer that. Like, the fact that Vice City had Iron Maiden, for example, like 2 Minutes to Midnight. I love that song. That song's great if you're playing with V-Rock, because that one's quite a good one. Mind you, I listen to V-Rock near enough exclusively. I don't really listen to the other ones that much. Sometimes FIFA 105 is good. Do listen to that now and then. There's Flash FM as well, which is okay. It's not the best. It's okay. And then you've got like some other stuff as well from that group, and it's like, yeah, it's okay stuff, but not as much my cup of tea. Like, I feel very sort of railroaded to one radio station near enough when I play Vice City.
Yeah.
Whereas with San Andreas, I can listen to KJR West because I love reggae, Radio Los Santos because I enjoy some of the hip hop that's in there, Kid Dust because I love rock, Hey Rose because I enjoy country. Like, there's a lot more options in that regard, and the vehicle customization is a really nice feature.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to play Vice City and San Andreas properly. Although wait, San Andreas is Xbox, it's on PS2. But
Just be prepared to hear the N word being dropped pretty much as great as homie is used. Because, yeah, your character's black. He knows it. He says it a lot.
Oh yeah, that's standard. I also need to play Jade Empire on Xbox.
Yes! Jade Empire is brilliant, man. You need to play it.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the BioWare games I've actually played and can wholeheartedly say they're a good company.
Yeah.
I've heard Knights of the Old Republic is really good as well, and something I should try, but I've not played it. And I'm sure there's some other good ones that BioWare has done in that sort of style, because Jade Empire plays in exactly the same sort of style as Knights, which is the crazy thing. The only difference is there's no space magic and glow sticks that kill people. It's real Chinese mythology kind of weaponry that will kick your ass and take your name. And there's quite a few different forms that you can take in that game as well. Ooh, and also John Cleese is in the game. Like, if you love Monty Python, you're gonna get a kick out of playing, like, Jade Empire. You're gonna get a kick from it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll download it at some point, put it on the Xbox original. Play it that way.
You also have Cam Clark and Robin Atkin Downs and quite a few other characters. Paul Whiting as well is in there. There's a bunch that goes into it. Definitely worth investing into because it's a really good game. Quite deep actually, with its storyline as well. And there are choices in the game that really do make you think, do you really want to go for, like, do you want to make your character a goody two-shoes and benefit from that side of things, or do you want to make him an evil asshole kind of thing? And reap the benefits of that.
Yeah. I always find it's easier to be evil in games like that. Like Fable 1, for example. That is another game. Fable.
In that game, I actually found it easier to be a good guy.
What, in Fable?
In Fable and in Jade Empire.
Alright, because I found it easier to be, for example, evil in Fable and Fallout, the Fallout games. But yeah, in Fable, like, I don't know. I just found it easier because you could just like, because like if there was an option of being good or bad in like a quest, like by answering something or whatever, like usually doing the good thing, you gotta do a lot more shit. Whereas doing the bad thing, easier. You just kill something or someone
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff like that.
I mean, it's far easier to have that kind of karma play in Fallout.
It's like in Fallout, it's like someone's got, like someone's trying to sell you stuff or a merchant or something. He's got lots of caps, he's got guns you want, you can just kill him. Done and dusted. You get bad karma, but you got loads of caps and armor and weapon.
Oh god, yeah, he's just... boring.
Flamewh33l's. Ah, okay, he's gonna give me a Pokemon, I think. That would be quite nice, actually.
Sorry, Laura, I should have laughed at that.
Oh boy. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, everyone. Go silent because you're overhearing my sister.
You can't be that far off the end.
Possible? Oh, well, there goes Suicune. You really have to fight me just to gain that respect? Jesus. Also, it was probably a good idea that I actually put away the Sudowoodo, because I've now just gotten a Shuckle. Yeah, I got given a Shuckle, so I'm bowling. Yeah, I should probably shut my door over. Without hope of it working, though, because I know for a fact the dog's going to just bump into it and oh Jesus, there's...
Huh?
Ah! It's snowing out.
This is not snowing.
It is! It full on is!
No.
Hold up.
Oh.
Probably won't be able to see it very easily or very well through the gun, but you see?
Are you using the gun?
Yeah, I'm using my light gun to because it's a camera.
Oh jeez, it is snowing down. So that'll probably hit me. So.
Yeah. Did not think that was gonna happen.
Actually, I'm gonna check now. I've not even looked at that.
As you see the snow, it's like, oh, that's quite heavy actually. Whoa, hello, sort of thing.
No, it's not snowing yet. So,
Probably be coming your way soon now.
yeah.
Was not expecting that. Yeah, because of the fact that it's a camera in my light gun that I use, it's under light gun as well, which is quite nice. I can just use that as like literally a camera to point for you. Oh well. Oh, here comes my sister again. Oh boy. The cliff edge. Everyone's excited for the Safari set. There's an NPC I'm supposed to speak to who will give me some medicine.
Medicine, you say?
Yeah, medicine for an ampharos that's up in the lighthouse.
Is he gonna give you some moon sugar?
I have words for you if caught in. Been a while since I played Morrowind. Mind you, I need to get it fixed. I don't know what on earth has gone wrong with it, but oof.
No, you didn't do any of the side quests, did you? Just the main stuff.
No, I didn't. Ah, right, okay. Oh boy. Well, you'll help for trying on that front. Hello, sausage. You enjoy the snow? Ooh, you're cold. I'm surprised that I had a few drop frames. I was about to say, just like, I'm surprised there's been no drop frames so far. That knocked on the head for the weather.
Yeah.
Usually snow would be the first thing to probably do me in. Here we are, Hitmonchan. Let's go. I believe there's actually something really cool about the Hitmon Pokemon. In Japanese, they actually translate their own version of it so that well, we've got one that's based on Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee kind of thing, our famous versions of some fighters. They have their own version of it in Japanese, which is really cool. I forget what the names are for the Japanese named ones, but it's quite cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I got very lucky that that poured me out then. That's Chuck ready to fight. I'm going to heal up and hope to God he doesn't turn the bleeding winch back so that he's underwater again, near enough. Wow, it's amazing what coffee can do for you. I haven't had it for a little while.
Yeah.
I did have some walnut cake as well, which is quite nice.
Oh, I might have contributed.
Yeah, walnut cake and some coffee. Oh, bloody hell, he's put the friggin... he's put it back on again, that dozy stuff up. I get tentative bugger. I didn't want to fight, but okay. Oh, wrong guy I wanted to fight, but... Margaret will fight a guy called Yoshi. I'm not kidding, that's his name. Yeah, I've been more recently playing a Need for Speed game that was really, really good, actually. Need for Speed World. Been been going quite well with the fan patch that's been around.
Yeah, I'm not really big into like sort of racing games and shit. Although I was into one that I was really into was Sonic. Is it All-Star Racing or something?
Yeah. The initial one that they did first was Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. which was the first one I played, and then I played the transformed one, which was an improved upon version.
It might be the transformed one, but either way, well, I played one of them and it was good. I enjoyed that. And other than that, games like Road Rash 3D on the PS1, which is like you sort of race. You're on a motorbike 3D game. You start racing, but you're supposed to hit and like punch and kick the other riders as you're like going past them to try and knock them off and that. It's pretty cool.
Sounds like Ride to Hell.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool game. Like, so yeah, I like that and the Sonic one, obviously because the Sonic theme. I thought it was pretty cool. So.
And then they started adding other things that weren't Sonic themed, like the Team Fortress guys and the Yogs cast and stuff like that.
But when it comes to like Need for Speed and fucking stuff like that,
Gran Turismo and
yeah. I mean, I'm not a massive car guy. I mean, I think some cars are cool, but it's just a bit not as interesting for me, you know. It's just cars. I can get some enjoyment, but I'd rather play like Sonic 1 or something.
I think Mitsu was very, very shocked that I seemed to be as more into cars than I let on.
If I was going to be into cars, I'd be into like old school cars, if anything. I think they're pretty good. But modern cars, I'm not really.
Yeah, modern cars are not that nice. In fact, I've even said multiple times to her, like, I prefer cars from like at the latest, the 90s and early nought. But the earliest stuff from like even just back when the Ford Coupe was a thing, like the Ford Model T Coupe, which was around in the 30s.
Yeah.
That's like a car from 34, which then got absolutely turned into a lean, mean road machine, basically.
Yeah.
When people started hot rodding it. No, that was cool. I enjoyed that. Like, I loved those types of cars. Like, I kind of want to actually try and get a few games to do that with.
Yeah.
Because I do enjoy those sorts of things. Like, the only problem that Need for Speed World has is the fact that it seems to have a pseudo doomsday clock coded into it.
Which is what?
What do I mean by that? Well, a doomsday clock in coding terms usually means it's going to self-destruct.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not quite meaning it in that full-on sense of it's literally going to corrupt and destroy your computer. But I mean along the lines of it's there, it does what it needs to do, kind of thing. Which is, it cuts you off from playing the game after 3 hours because it's a open world that's an online multiplayer game. It's an MMO. And it does it to prevent syncing issues.
So you only get 3 hours, that sucks.
But you can immediately, as soon as you reboot the launcher, boot back into the game. So, swings and roundabouts. Bit of a faff, yeah. I would agree to that. It's a bit of a faff, but it's not as devastating as it perhaps could be. It's just a rather minor inconvenience. But because I'm like really into cars as well, like I enjoy the old cars a lot, and I think that comes from the fact that my dad loved playing racing games, but he would also talk quite fondly of those types of cars as well. So, and he also has the mindset of these cars were really, really nice kind of thing, and he wishes that there were more cars like it. Because the problem that the cars have got now, modern day, is the fact that they all follow a very, very samey pattern. They're all aerodynamic.
Yeah, they're all like curved and look sort of similar.
Bubble cars, basically.
Yeah, a bit more style, and like I like the way they look. The older cars, you know.
Whereas you look at cars from like way, way earlier kind of thing, when like the 70s and 50s and so on and so forth. They're big and boxy, yes, but each one was very distinct. Like you could look at it and go, oh yeah, that's a 57 Bel Air, or oh yeah, that's a 69 Dodge Charger.
They're unique, whereas modern cars kind of blend together.
There's like a very, very minor differences between each and every one of them, and it mainly comes down to the hypercars, I think. Like, look at brands that have hypercars like Koenigsegg, Pagani, Ferrari, Lamborghini. There's very, very minor differences, but there's subtle differences in each and every one of their designs that they're unique. Like, they still have that sort of, we've captured this soul to make things a lot more interesting.
Yeah.
But then, for some bizarre, unexplained, weird reason, as you go through that kind of thing, it's still sort of, you can still tell it all just looks the same, it's just slightly different each way. But there is, like, still that intricate, there's one thing that makes them all wear the badge that they do, and you can go, yeah, that is this car, that is a Ferrari or whatnot, and you can easily tell. Now that sort of thing, I love that about cars. Like, if you're able to easily tell what they are, not just on the sound of it, but also like the visual aspect of it and the badge and so on and so forth, you could easily go, ah, yeah, that's this, that, and the other. And everyone's got a car that can do that.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to whether or not they can actually do that sort of thing to make it look good. But hey, maybe that's just me. Like, maybe I'm the one that's sort of along the lines of things have just gotten to, if they're supposed to be better, because of modern day saying it is, it's must be better. Or perhaps I'm just the one that's going around a wheelie bin kind of going nuts. I don't know.
No. I agree. Yeah.
Or one of them dippy heads.
I feel that way with a lot of stuff. Not just cars. Like, Like computers, for example.
Yeah,
More
computers are
distinct,
another one.
Like just old computers, just like they had distinct cool design, case designs, and just they're all distinct from each other. Different keyboards, all sorts of like unique stuff. Whereas nowadays it's like and different platforms and stuff. I mean, we got Mac OS, Linux, and Windows, but there's a lot more interesting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they do their job, and that's about it. As much as you could ask for. Yes.
Mm. Time is it? Might have to go at 5-ish.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because I got a couch coming, as I said before.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know if are you carrying on.
I can carry on for a little bit if you're planning on coming back. If not, I can stop here, as it were.
I'm not sure. You see, it depends with the couch and that. So it's like a case of like, it's up to you if you want to carry on. But I don't know if I'll be back or not.
I'll probably stop when you end up heading off.
Alright, okay. Badoo. But yeah, I need to get my DS sorted because I did want to play it as well.
Yeah.
But
With
there's
me
no point
playing
joining
away
it
at this
now.
game, it's sort of like, yeah, now you're really wanting to.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point me joining in now. It'd be a case of when you next start another game.
Yeah, it'll probably be once I've done this one. I think you said you were thinking of doing Diamond and Pearl next, or...
Yeah, something like
Which would be quite cool, actually, if we could do that.
yeah.
There is Black and White as well. I really don't know what I'm supposed to do now, because I've done the gym. Well, I've done nearly all of the gyms, but Jasmine's the hardest part, 'cause I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with her.
It'd be cool if we could trade as well, but I don't think you can on emulator. I don't think you can connect.
Yeah, in the
Because I should be able to do it on console, I think. So, let's see what's going on.
I think it'll be a bit tricky to try and do it through online, but well, doing it through this, but I'm sure it's possible. Right, that's great. Oh, I love the fact that the storyline behind her. How the hell am I supposed to get up to her? For God's sake. Right, yeah, that's great and all. The gentleman in the lighthouse said she used to train rock-type Pokemon, such as an Onix. Once defeated, she will yield. Oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's not helpful at all, trying to find, like, how to, as it were, for this.
Haven't you beaten it before?
On the older game, yeah. Wow, this is ridiculous here.
I'm gonna head off now.
Alright, man.
Get this couch sorted. But yeah, appreciate you chilling. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Good to see you. Let's try to sort something out again. Oh, he's gone. Oh well. Hopefully he caught that last thing. But with that said, I will go with it, and I think I'll call it quits as well. Good to be around with Silent there. And with that, I bid you all adieu. See you later, and enjoy the rest of your day.